The active weather continues tonight. Areas of light snow, but more is on the way. Coming up, potential additional snow through New Year's Eve.
I don't get no more hugs. No, he used to carry me every time I get hugs from him. But now he's not the same.
A family is suing the West Valley City Police Department over something they say could have been prevented. Tonight, what the family is claiming as they reveal new video in this case.
He literally ran into the fire to save his kids.
Incredible, a heroic moment during tragedy after a southern Utah family's converted bus explodes. How you can help them as they continue to recover.
And a giant in national politics over the past 3 decades has died. How Utah politicians are remembering former Nevada Senator Harry Reid.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Our top story tonight is the chilly weather and snowfall in northern Utah. It is calmer this evening than we have seen the past few nights, but more storms are on the way. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm Kelly Chapman.
And I'm Adam Herbetson for Bob Evans tonight. 2 days in a row, this is our top story. Let's go straight to Utah's Weather Authority, Allison Krogan, with how much snowfall and where we can expect it. Allison.
Expect this on and off through the rest of the week. Right now here in Salt Lake City, 21 degrees, cold temperatures, slick spots will remain from any snow that has already fallen. 22 in Ogden right now, 22 for Provo. Let me show you satellite and a radar. I know it doesn't look entirely impressive, but we do have light snow, steady snow coming down along the Wasatch Mountains right now across the Salt Lake Valley, low visibility north of I-80. Across southern Utah, spotty snow showers earlier today near Panguitch, but overall, we're tracking some areas of low visibility, Santaquin through Provo, and then up towards the northern end of the Salt Lake Valley. It's improved in the last 10 minutes or so, but we did have some visibility down to about 3 miles. Temperature-wise, feels like 14 in Provo, 22 for Ogden, that 21 here in Salt Lake, 12 for Logan, and for St. George, 36 degrees for what it feels like right now. Tomorrow morning when you wake up in the teens here in Salt Lake City with mostly cloudy sky and more snow in the forecast, especially during the second half of the day tomorrow. I'll let you know how much additional snowfall you can expect coming up.
Thanks, Allison. Tonight, a 22-year-old Utah man and his family says West Valley City police officers are to blame for him being run over by a car suffering a traumatic brain injury.
Now, as Fox 13's Emily Tenser reports, his family is suing the city and its police officers. We do want to warn you, some of the video in this story might be disturbing to some viewers.
This is 22-year-old Antonio O.J. Sivatia just days ago on Christmas morning. It's a hard video for his mother, Nani Masanaipia, to show because this isn't how her son used to be.
I don't get no more hugs. No, he used to carry me every time I get hugs from him. But now he's not the same. He's not the same OJ. He's not.
On December 6th in 2020, Sivatia was run over by a car after being tased by West Valley City Police.
He had significant brain injury, okay, to the point where he can't talk, he can't walk.
Now his family is suing West Valley City and its police officers, saying all of this could have been prevented.
Making Antonio lie down with his head away from the traffic so that he couldn't see it coming particularly was a danger, and that was created by the police.
Deputy reports show police responded to a mentally violent individual near 4000 South and Redwood Road around midnight.
There was apparently an altercation in a friend's apartment. There was a window broken.
One officer reported that Sivatia was, quote, attempting to be hit by vehicles in the road, and a taser was deployed.
Get on the ground now!
Sivatia's lawyer, Robert Sykes, says officers didn't follow the law or West Valley police policy, saying excessive force was not necessary.
You keep your hands right where they're at, you understand me?
And that they should have not let him lay in the road without any protection from traffic.
If he turned his car, my son, that car wouldn't have hit my son. It would have never happened. if he just turned his car instead of going straight.
In a statement sent to Fox 13 News, the police department says they are aware of the lawsuit. The case is under investigation by Protocol Team 1, which is led by the Salt Lake City Police Department, and will undergo an internal review. They write, "We don't draw any conclusion about the case until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete." In West Valley City, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
New at 9, former U.S. Senator Harry Reid has died. He represented Nevada for 3 decades, the longest in the state's history, before he retired in 2017. He also served for 8 years as Democratic Majority Leader. The senator also attended Southern Utah University and Utah State University, where he graduated in 1961. Plenty of reaction coming into our newsroom tonight from Reid's colleagues here in Utah. Former Senator Orrin Hatch said that Harry Reid was the embodiment of the American dream and that he is grateful to have known Harry and to have called him a friend. Senator Mike Lee says, quote, "From his time as my family's home teacher and father of one of my dear friends to when we were colleagues in the Senate, Senator Harry Reid was a kind, caring friend. He will be missed." Harry Reid was 82 years old.
Well, that's a concert for you. Long lines, delays, and cancellations have forced people to wait in the airport here in Salt Lake City for hours today. However, some waiting decided to play the piano to try and cheer everyone up.
Every time he finished performing, we would clap for him, and everyone around was like very involved. It was a cool, like, kind of like a uniting moment for everyone. It's like I'm sure people were frustrated by getting delayed, like on the holiday.
Very cool there. Everyone did need some cheering up because, as you can see from the FlightAware map, it's called the Misery Map, there has been more issues today at Salt Lake International.
Miserable people in a miserable place at a miserable time of year. Fox 13's Erin Cox joins us live from outside the airport, but she was just inside spending time with passengers. Erin, what is going through their mind tonight?
That's right, Adam and Kelly. Well, just to give you a look at what they're enduring inside the airport, there have been 35 cancellations and 328 delays, and that is just today's numbers from FlightAware. But passengers tell me they've had a little bit of fun passing the time. Many sitting in the airport.
No! Oh, shoot, I should have given you a ticket card.
Are playing the waiting game.
We had a canceled flight yesterday that got delayed twice. So we had to spend the night again in Deer Valley.
13-year-old Yoni Shavasky and his family spent Christmas here in Utah. Their JetBlue flight was canceled, and they've been trying to fly home back east ever since yesterday.
We thought maybe an hour delay or something, not canceled. So we were, pretty shocked. You get pretty bored and hot, and you just want to be back home.
Leo and Claudia Andrade's Delta flight was delayed 8 hours out of Montana.
It wasn't because of the weather that our flight got delayed at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I guess that the plane coming in with the crew had just gotten there at 4, and they legally can't fly another plane. So then what did he call it?
He called it a crew rest
Crew
period.
rest. There was a mandatory crew rest. So we had to wait for the crew to essentially go and sleep before they could come back and send out this other one.
They missed their connecting flight here in Salt Lake City and are hoping their new flight leaving for California won't be delayed.
Knock on some wood or something.
Will Pollock and his dad are hoping their 3-hour flight delay with United Airlines won't be canceled.
Not too stressful because we don't really need to be back for a certain time, but just kind of annoying having to wait.
All playing the waiting game and hoping to get home soon.
It's been fun. I mean, I've been winning a lot.
Now, according to FlightAware, SkyWest has canceled 146 of their flights, and Delta has canceled 130 of those flights. Excuse me, those are delayed numbers, not cancellations. So delayed 146 for SkyWest and 130 for Delta. Live from the Salt Lake City International Airport, Erin Cox, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Moab police have been reviewing 2 different episodes with their officers. I've got updates on both cases.
I started seeing sparks. There's smoke coming from the backside windows, and the next thing you know, it's boom.
Terrifying moments for dozens aboard a bus as it rolled over on I-70. Tonight, a passenger shares his experience.
And a rich Utah tradition continues. A little bit later, we'll take you to the Winter Steam Festival happening at Golden Spike National Historical Park. We'll be right back.
I'm Jeff Rainier in Pasadena, California, where Utah is set to play in their first ever Rose Bowl game on Saturday against Ohio State. It was such a big deal for the Utes to finally win the Pac-12 championship and clinch a spot in the Rose Bowl. Now their focus is on winning it.
I don't give a if he wanted to stay in there. He's like 6 years old, dude.
3 of the complaints were sustained.
An update tonight to a story we first told you about a few months ago. The Fox 13 Investigates team has obtained a report on 2 Moab police officers whose conduct led to a child abuse case being dismissed.
Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle explains which policies the officers violated.
In September, we told you how a judge dismissed a child abuse prosecution and admonished Moab police for failing to keep their body cameras running throughout the episode. This report, obtained today by Fox 13, confirms the officers violated those policies and more.
I don't give a if he wanted to stay in there. He's like 6 years old, dude.
That's Officer Clint Johnson speaking to a father who went into a store to buy groceries. He left his 6-year-old son in a car on a 48-degree night during February of this year. Johnson and another officer, Dan Malone, cited the father for misdemeanor child abuse. After a judge dismissed the case over the officers failing to properly record what happened, defense attorney Happy Morgan filed a complaint.
3 of the complaints were sustained in that both officers failed to activate their body-worn camera per our policy. Both officers violated our standards of conduct policy in the use of coarse language, and that one of the officers involved was not wearing a face mask.
The written investigative summary, prepared by a Weber County Sheriff's lieutenant, says Johnston claimed he pushed his camera's on button early in the episode, felt it vibrate, and assumed it activated. Malone says he just forgot to start his camera. The investigator said an allegation the 2 officers were biased toward the father, a Native American, was unfounded.
But has the disciplinary aspect of this been concluded?
I will say that it's in progress.
Morgan, the defense attorney who filed the complaint, issued a statement Tuesday saying she appreciates the work of the Weber County Sheriff's Office and, quote, I strongly encourage Moab City to learn how to process citizen complaints similarly, as is anticipated by its own policy, and Moab City to address the findings with rigorous corrective action, end quote. It's also in Moab where 2 different officers encountered Gabby Petito and her boyfriend Brian Laundrie, but let them go despite the couple having had a domestic violence altercation. Petito was later strangled in Wyoming. Laundrie died by suicide in Florida. I asked Palmer the status of the review into how Moab police handled the Petito Laundrie stop. Palmer said he's reviewing that report and its recommendations and hopes to make the document available to the public next week. In the studio, Nate Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In national news tonight, legendary NFL coach and broadcaster John Madden has died. The NFL made the announcement this morning saying Madden died unexpectedly, but they did not cite a cause of death. Madden led the Oakland Raiders to a Super Bowl championship, Super Bowl 11 in 1976. His name has also been at the center of a very popular video game, Madden video game, since 1988. John Madden was 85 years old.
Today, the second and what's believed to be the original time capsule found at the base of the Robert E. Lee Monument pedestal in Richmond, Virginia, was opened. Conservators with the state's Historic Resources Department painstakingly opened the copper box a day after it was found. Among the items found inside the box, a 1887 Bible, a button, books, and a printed image showing Lincoln's grave with a figure grieving over it. Earlier this month, another time capsule was discovered in the monument's pedestal, but after examination, it was determined the artifact was not the original time capsule, but possibly put there during construction.
Still fascinating. What a find.
If you had a time capsule for me, it would just be a bunch of like reporter notebooks. Nothing.
Of course it would
Nothing
be.
exciting.
Investigative, inside files, right?
Exactly.
Hey, we have widespread snowfall coming down along the Wasatch Front tonight, Allison.
Yes, areas of light snow mainly here tonight, but we do have more chances for snow, especially Wednesday through Friday this week. So let me go ahead and show you what we're dealing with currently. Not a whole lot, but enough that you'll notice some flurries while you're driving, enough to make your car a little messy. 21 degrees here in Salt Lake with calm wind right now, and we are back to full visibility, which is an improvement from our lower visibility that we had about an hour ago. Highs today only made it into the mid-20s here in Salt Lake City. A normal high would be 37 degrees, so we are below average today. And our top weather headlines are on and off snow will be continuing through the end of the week. We'll have a windy night on Friday night, which is New Year's Eve, and then a very cold start to 2022. A frigid weekend on tap with single digits for our overnight lows. Very cool weather ahead. Now, satellite and radar, I know it doesn't look very impressive as we zoom in right now, but we do have some areas of light snow coming down. Just not being picked up well on our radar this evening. What you can expect, some light snow tonight. Might wake up to a little bit of a dusting on some grassy surfaces or on your driveway if you haven't stepped out in the last few hours. Your car might have a little bit of snow on it, but we're going to have more snow later in the week. So for tonight, areas of light snow, yes. Cold temperatures, 21 for Salt Lake, 16 currently in Tooele, 21 for Provo, 22 for Ogden, and then down into Price, 13 right now. So all the snow that we had in the last few days, it is still going to be creating slick conditions out on the road. So still travel with caution tonight. 18 degrees for an overnight temperature here in Salt Lake. Areas of light snow possible. And then we're going to end up with temperatures close to 15 to 20 degrees. First thing tomorrow morning for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. Chance for some snow tonight, mainly across central and southern Utah in the mountains in the middle of the night. Then by tomorrow afternoon, we'll have a better chance for some snow to develop during the second half of the day again tomorrow. So at 3 o'clock, we are close to freezing for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. Let me show you this feature cast through the night tonight. By 2 o'clock in the morning, near I-70 and I-15, that junction right in central Utah, that's where we're going to have some areas of snow coming down, slick at times. But we look at the conditions in the next couple of days, and it's going to get tough again for some travel during the evening commute. Tomorrow, we'll have some areas of snow coming down for our I-15 corridor through the night tomorrow night. Into Thursday at 6 a.m., especially across central and southern Utah. And then for the Wasatch Front, we do have additional snow possible. Here in Salt Lake City, our chance of precipitation skyrockets basically heading into Thursday day and Thursday night. So we are going to continue with active weather through New Year's Eve, Friday night. Clearing out this weekend, and with the clearing, we're going to have much colder temperatures. Our temperatures are going to tumble. For St. George, close to 40 to 45 for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Then take a look at those temperatures in St. George this weekend. Highs around freezing on Saturday, with overnight temperatures dropping into the teens. Along the Wasatch Front, we're in the mid-30s tomorrow, 38 on Thursday, 30 on Friday. Only about 20 for a high on Saturday, so a very cold weekend ahead. Coming up later in the hour, I'll show you how much additional snowfall you can expect over the next couple of days.
We want to know, Allison. See you soon. Thank you. Still ahead, one Cache County city will soon be cracking down on stores giving away plastic bags. We'll show you what this means for shoppers as we enter the new year.
When you can't watch Fox 13 News live, watch us streaming online for free on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just search Fox 13 on your device.
Okay, this is just days away. On January 1st, the city of Logan will put a new policy into place that charges customers 10 cents per plastic bag.
It was on its way to being the policy in all of Cache County before stalling. Fox 13's Brian Champagne shows us what stopped it and what could bring it back.
Bry Laughlin is checking and bagging groceries at his European Food Club.
I didn't hear anything about it. Even on the radio, nothing.
It is this posting on Logan City's website. It says it will require him to get rid of bags, recycle, or charge his customers 10 cents a bag. And it says it starts January 1st.
This is the first I've heard about it right before I'm supposed to use it, when I have a stockpile in the back ready to go for the next 6 months.
In 2019, the Logan City Council passed a plastic bag ordinance, but it was supposed to go into effect in spring 2020. Then COVID hit.
And that really changed a lot of the thinking for everybody, because we knew that implementing something that could have financial scenarios for businesses or have additional things that they had to worry about on top of just surviving just wasn't a good idea.
Young served on the county committee that worked with Logan City to come up with a county-wide strategy. So why is just Logan City moving forward now? We called to get it straight from the head of the Logan City Environmental Department. First, we were told he's on another line. Later, we were invited to leave a message. Finally coming down here, we were told he's left for the day.
And so this might be Logan just saying, hey, we're going to take the first step, that we support it. Now the county council is going to have to decide, okay, how much of that are we going to support and how are we going to, where are we going to play in that?
Even though Cache County was starting on a policy, Young says the council hasn't decided on any of this.
There hasn't been any conversation, at least that I'm aware of publicly, that has taken place. So that all still has to happen.
Even in Logan City.
I don't know how they expect us to follow rules when we don't even know what the rules are.
Brian Champagne, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up here, a first-hand account of someone inside a Greyhound bus crash in Emery County. What investigators are revealing tonight.
Plus, a teenager found shot and killed, and 2 other teens now behind bars. What investigators say happened. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, we are hearing a first-hand account of what happened on board a Greyhound bus as it crashed in central Utah.
The crash happened just before midnight in Emery County along Interstate 70. Fox 13's Eliana Sheriff picks up the story from there.
This bus was traveling from Green River to Las Vegas when just before midnight, it veered off the right side of the roadway, going about 100 yards before overturning.
37 people were on board, including Antonio Hill.
It was a real scary situation, because, just out of nowhere, I hear about a scrub and, I start seeing sparks and smoke coming from the backside windows, and the next thing you know, it's like, boom.
Antonio was trying to get to Salt Lake City to start trucking school. He was supposed to arrive days ago, but weather created delays.
But so many delays happened. The Greyhounds were showing up so late that it turned that into a 4-day trip.
He says just about an hour into the drive last night, he got up to go to the bathroom. That's when the bus crashed.
I flew into the air. Oh my God. And everything went black.
He's in the hospital right now in Price with a bruised lung and internal bleeding. We learned 32 people were transported by ambulance to 3 hospitals. Ambulances from 5 different counties responded, as well as some EMTs in their personal vehicles. Helicopters were paged but were unable to respond due to weather conditions. Because of how remote the accident was, 10 patients were taken in the middle of the night to a temporary shelter at a church. Residents came with food and blankets, and 6 of those were taken from the church to the hospital.
The roads didn't look like they were too bad at the time that the crash occurred.
And this crash is still under investigation. We will keep you posted as we learn more. In Emery County, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Almost exactly 4 years ago, just a mile away from where this Greyhound bus crashed, another bus crashed, killing 13 people. It's unclear what caused that crash, but the Utah Highway Patrol said at the time a passenger reported a possible medical issue with the driver.
Tonight, we are learning more about a deadly shooting over the holiday weekend. At around 11 o'clock Christmas morning, police discovered the body of 16-year-old Kenneth Gant of West Jordan in the parking lot of the Gene Fulmer Recreation Center in West Jordan. Investigators believe he was lured there by 18-year-old Jedediah Zane Newsom and another juvenile who told Gant they wanted him to join their gang. Gant was later shot multiple times.
We know that the shooting actually occurred sometime the night of December 24th. I don't have an exact time frame. The victim was there from that time until about 11 o'clock Saturday morning.
The suspects were arrested Christmas night as part of a carjacking investigation in West Valley City. One of the suspects allegedly told police they were responsible for Gant's death. A southern Utah community now coming together after a man and his 4 children were seriously hurt in a bus explosion in Washington County.
Deputies and emergency services say they responded to a vehicle fire in Vail at around 10 o'clock last night and arrived to find the bus the family had converted into their home engulfed in flames. The deputy on the scene confirmed that everyone had escaped alive, but the man and 4 children all suffered burns ranging from minor to serious. Vail's fire chief says the fire likely started from a propane tank that was inside. Today, Fox 13 spoke with the grandfather, Greg Copeland, who describes how his son ran in to save his own children.
You often wonder whether you would have the wherewithal to jump in the lake or do whatever it took to save your children. And I am in awe of my son. He literally ran into the fire to save his kids. I don't know if I would have had that same courage, but he did, and he did. He saved them, and that says a lot about him.
Police said neighbors also jumped in to help the injured kids while the deputies stayed with the man and helped treat his injuries. 2 children were taken to the hospital but released soon after. The man and the other 2 kids were taken to the hospital with severe burns.
A fundraising page has been set up to help the Copeland family with medical expenses and costs to rebuild after their home burned. If you would like to help, we do have a link to that site off of ours. Go to fox13now.com. In other news, the federal appeals court has upheld part of a ruling against the stars of a reality TV show, but cut the impact of the damages they were ordered to pay. The group Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment sued the Diesel brothers, accusing them of removing pollution controls from vehicles, contributing to Utah's air pollution. A federal judge sided with them. The Diesel brothers, however, appealed. The 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver upheld some of the ruling, but also limited the scope of the emissions violations and how much damages they can collect.
Salt Lake City police say a suspect made a violent getaway in a stolen truck. Investigators say just before 2 o'clock this afternoon, officers recognized the stolen truck parked in the area of 1800 South and State Street, a 2008 Toyota Tundra with a camper shell attached, which was spray painted black. As officers approached, they say the driver, 27-year-old Tice Robert Rasmussen, took off, hitting 2 cars, including an unmarked police car. No one was hurt. Officers did not chase him. If you have any information, please call police.
With a day full of post-storm work ahead of her, a local tow truck driver discovered her truck was stolen. Kimberly Antian works for McNeil's Towing in Sandy and usually spends her day helping stuck drivers. But today, she was dealing with police looking for her own work truck. Her truck was taken sometime before 3 o'clock this morning and was found this afternoon completely stripped. Kimberly says this was hard for her, but even worse for her company and those they serve.
I don't understand what is going on here or why somebody would want to take it. We work for AAA. We help people. That's what that truck is used for.
It honestly just affects our whole community because we are the ones that come out to service everybody that's broke down on the side of the road or runs out of gas or gets a flat tire, etc.
Kimberly is now asking for anyone to watch for someone trying to sell AAA branded car batteries and tow truck tools like impact drills and air pumps. If you have any information about this, please contact West Valley City Police.
Coming up, harsher punishments could be coming for anyone who assaults a healthcare worker. We'll explain what one Utah lawmaker is proposing in a new bill.
And more weather headlines as we head into the rest of the week with winter weather advisories here across a lot of the state along the mountains of northern and southern Utah. Coming up, we'll let you know how much additional snowfall you can expect over the next few days.
Well, this just into the Fox 13 newsroom, we have confirmed that former state legislator Paul Ray is facing a, quote, unexpected health challenge.
Officials with the Department of Human Services, where he now works, say they could not share further information, only that they are hoping for the best outcome for Paul and his family. Of course, we'll bring you the latest on this story as we're able to confirm any more details.
The Utah State Legislature is looking to crack down on abuses against healthcare workers.
The COVID-19 pandemic has seen a surge in people attacking hospital employees. Now the punishments could be upgraded.
Fox 13's Ben Winslow is on Utah's Capitol Hill with more.
Healthcare workers are experiencing an increase in attacks in hospitals and clinics.
I've heard, instances where people have been very angry because they think that COVID is not real, that the nurses and doctors are lying to them.
Liz Close with the Utah Nurses Association says 1 in 4 nurses nationwide has experienced a workplace assault.
We're stabbed, punched, kicked, spit upon, much worse kinds of things that go on.
She says it's gotten worse lately because of COVID-19 misinformation. Her group is supporting a bill in the Utah State Legislature to crack down on healthcare worker assaults.
I've heard about instances of physical aggression, people attacking nurses, attacking security workers, attacking custodians in hospitals.
Representative Robert Spenlove is proposing to increase the penalties for assaulting a healthcare worker and expand who's covered.
Right now, there exists a penalty in the law where if someone attacks someone in the emergency room, that penalty is elevated from a Class B to a Class A misdemeanor. This would take it to cover the entire hospital, all hospital workers, and also cover physicians' offices.
The Utah Hospital Association says it's still tallying how many assaults healthcare workers have experienced, but acknowledges a spike since the COVID-19 pandemic began.
Seeming anger, distrust, that some of the public has for the healthcare professionals. And nurses are particularly vulnerable because we're at the bedside all the time.
It's a really tough time in hospitals. Our essential workers are being subjected to abuse, both mental and verbal.
The bill would elevate the level of crime to a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by jail time and fines. But it wouldn't last for long. Representative Spenlove is proposing to sunset the law in 5 years.
The hope is that once COVID kind of becomes more endemic, that some of the stresses and some of people's frustrations will drop down and we'll reassess the bill.
On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, you know that sound. The locomotives are out at the Golden Spike National Historic Park. We'll show you opening day at the park's Winter Steam Festival when we come back.
11th ranked Utah football is heading to the historic Rose Bowl. Coming up, we'll show you how players say they are getting into the right mindset ahead of Saturday's game.
Hey everyone, we are so glad you can join us for Fox 13 News at 9. We have snow falling outside the station right now.
Not too bad, but, well, not too good, I should say, but not as bad as yesterday.
It could always be slick when we have such frigid temperatures, so be careful. Utah's Weather Authority Allison Krogan will have your forecast coming up in just a few minutes. In the meantime, 4 new Utah fishing records were set this year.
The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources says 3 were catch and release records, a Bear Lake cutthroat trout, a walleye, and a Colorado River cutthroat trout. The 4th was a catch and keep record of a 15-pound, 4-ounce wiper, 28 1/8 inches long, caught at Newcastle Reservoir on April 8th. That record was then broken on May 23rd with a 15-pound, 5-ounce wiper, 29 1/4 inches long, also at Newcastle Reservoir.
Wow. Well, you can take a dive into the new year at the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. The aquarium in Draper is offering a multi-day celebration to ring in the new year. The event includes admission to the aquarium for tomorrow and Thursday. Then on the 31st, this Friday, the aquarium will have its annual New Year's Eve celebration with a countdown and a party at different times during the afternoon. You know, just in case you can't make it all the way to midnight, there's options for you.
Everyone makes it to midnight, right?
No,
unless you're like
the older I get, the less chance of that happening.
I haven't made it in like a decade, so there you go. Happening now, the Winter Steam Festival is going on through Thursday at Golden Spike National Historical Park.
Fox 13 photojournalist Richard Bork takes us to opening day.
Put a little bit of wood in the firebox.
Today is the first day of our annual Steam Fest event, which is the one time between Christmas and New Year's where we bring out one of the steam locomotives and kind of relive a piece of Utah's history.
The cold weather, it really makes the steam pop, and it's a really neat experience.
We have a full day full of events. We've got the locomotive doing demonstration runs about 5 times throughout the day. We've got our hand car and our motor car that we'll take out.
It's a moment of pride for sure, especially knowing how much work we have to put into these to keep them looking like they do. It makes us feel good to go down there and see people appreciate our hard work and what we're doing here as a part to preserve this part of history that's been lost in a lot of textbooks.
The motor car is actually a little bit later technology than these steam locomotives, but it was used by crews to go up and down the tracks to check or do repairs, make sure there was no debris or anything on the track. We only bring out the hand car and the motor car on special events, and so this is one of the few times of the year where we actually get them out.
If you'll walk right around here.
We put people right on that old hand car, and you can kind of get that workout going, maybe work off some of those fudge calories or whatever else from Christmas. I think it's the best family event going on in northern Utah this time of year, and I guarantee the kids are going to love it.
I was out on the roads yesterday. I feel a lot better being in the studio today, but we're still tracking it.
It's cold and it's slick. Here's the problem. We're getting some ice, obviously, with the wet roads and the temperature drop, but then we've got a thin layer of snow covering a lot of things outside right now, Allison.
And more snow on the way. And with our temperatures tonight dropping into the teens, we actually never made it above freezing today, only into the mid-20s. We will still continue with slick spots out on the road. So still a couple of crashes out there, no major delays currently, but just stay cognizant if you're going to be out on the road. 21 degrees here in Salt Lake, 22 for Ogden, 21 degrees currently in Provo. Now let me show you satellite and radar, because you'll look at this and be like, pretty good out there. We do have some light snow coming down here along the Wasatch Front right now, up along the Wasatch Mountains and across portions of the valleys. Areas of light snow to be expected tonight. And we're going to end up with additional snowfall, especially during the second half of tomorrow, on and off through Friday night, which is going to end up being New Year's Eve. So could end up being a popular night for people to be out on the roads late, and we could end up still with some slick spots. Avalanche warnings until 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning for the mountains of northern and central Utah, plus a winter weather advisory for the mountains across northern Utah through early on New Year's Day. And then winter weather advisories until 9 o'clock on New Year's Eve night for the mountains across southern Utah. Temperatures right now, it's about 15 degrees in Tooele. Same thing for Logan at 12 degrees right now, 7 for Bear Lake, 20 for Lehigh currently. As we look up towards Preston, 10 degrees. Rock Springs, 9. We've got temperatures that are nice and chilly down towards Cedar City at 27, 18 for Vernal, and 39 currently for St. George. Tomorrow morning here in Salt Lake City, you'll wake up to mostly cloudy sky, temperatures in the upper teens tomorrow morning into the 20s by 9 o'clock. We're going to see a chance for some snow during the second half of the day tomorrow for northern Utah. Until then, a few areas of intermittent light flurries as a possibility. But mainly overnight, we'll have scattered snow showers across central and southern Utah, mostly along the highest terrain. And then during tomorrow afternoon, looking at 4 o'clock, we're close to freezing for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo tomorrow. Now let me show you this future cast, because we're going to have things getting going again tomorrow afternoon. So by Wednesday at 3 p.m., we're going to have some snow developing again for the Wasatch Front and for the northern mountains. That starts to move into southwestern Utah about 3-4 p.m. Then we're going to see this through Thursday at 6 a.m., especially for the I-15 corridor across southwestern Utah. We'll continue with areas of snowfall through Friday morning for our I-15 corridor across the entire state. And then we see clearing on Saturday and Sunday. And with the clearing, we have extremely cold temperatures behind it. Now with our forecast snow totals through the end of the week, through New Year's Day, so through Saturday, Keep in mind, this is going to be over the course of several days. We are looking at a potential for about 3 to 12 inches of snow here along the Wasatch Front over the course of several days. For the mountains, we're looking at about 18 to 24 inches of snow across central Utah for the mountains down towards Orderville and Zion National Park. And for St. George, you could even see some snow in the grassy surfaces with your overnight temps in the 30s this week. 35 on Saturday in St. George for New Year's Day. Salt Lake highs in the low 20s on Saturday, with overnight temps close to 10 degrees this weekend.
Utah is set to play in the Rose Bowl for the first time ever this Saturday against Ohio State. The Utes have played in a New Year's Six bowl game before with wins in the Fiesta and Sugar Bowls, but this will be their first time playing in the granddaddy of them all. And for players like Nick Ford and Britton Covey, this will be their final game in a Utah uniform.
It's unbelievable. And that's a big reason why I chose to just say this is my last year, because I'm so content with how things have gone, and what better way to go out, right? So I'm really excited to put on that Utah uniform one last time. Way emotional about it. You know, I'm a sentimental guy, so I'm excited.
Growing up, you know, I watched it, saw, you know, the floats being made and everything, watched the parade itself and the game. But I'm not trying to get, you know, starstruck, quote unquote, and like be a deer in the headlights in the game. So for me, Saturday is just in a game, and after the game, I'm gonna be acting like a little kid, man. Like realize the entire experience. Like the experience thus far has been amazing. The hospitality's been great, and come the game, you know, I'm thinking 60-minute football game, and then once the game is over, I'm probably gonna be a little kid again.
It's now all business for the Utes in Southern California as they practice in Carson, California to get ready for the 6th-ranked Buckeyes. It was such a big deal for the Utes to finally win the Pac-12 championship and get to the Rose Bowl game. Now their focus is on winning it.
I think it's the mentality that Coach Witt has built up over the year. We got a thing called a red line, and we have it painted out here too. Once you cross that red line, you know, it's all business. You got to run, you got to lift, you got to do whatever you got to do. And you know, just that mentality he's built up of, you know, it's time to go to work, I think has really been instilled in every single player.
You don't need any extra motivation for the guys for the Rose Bowl to get them fired up about it, right? You don't need to be getting on people to try and work harder or watch more film, because everyone's already doing it.
Now let's just hope they can play the game. COVID-19 has already canceled a number of bowl games across the country and a few events here at the Rose Bowl. The Lowry Beef Bowl and Thursday's Media Day both have been canceled, but as of now, the game will be played on Saturday. From the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, Jeff Rainier, Fox 13 Sports, Utah.
Thank you, Jeff. Fox 13's Jeff Rainier and Spencer Joseph are in California all week to follow the Utes as they embark on this historic bowl opportunity. Follow Fox 13 on air and online as we get closer to game day. We'll be right back. Finally tonight, the Breakfast of Champions is giving a World War II veteran from Iowa a big honor ahead of his 100th birthday next month. Clarence Frett's daughter sent an email to General Mills to see if she could get her dad's face on the front of a Wheaties box. Turns out Wheaties came through, put them on select editions of the cereal. Clarence claims in addition to eating Wheaties every morning, all of his friends at the barbershop keep him young.
Oh, that's fantastic. He deserved that box cover.
And thank you for your service.
Quick Cast is next.